Buying insurance should be easy. Home, auto, life, health, even business insurance. You can get it all and more at the Insurance Exchange. We work with top-rated insurance companies to get you the best rate and coverage. Come join our family. We're local, family-owned, and as active members in the community with over 40 years in the business, we understand the needs of our customers. Visit us online at insxchg.com. We'll get you covered.
Healing, salvation, and happiness. It's your season. It's your time. God has plans for your life to prosper you and to give you hope and a future. Join us and learn how God's love and power can bring hope and happiness to your life. This is your opportunity for motivation, encouragement, and purpose.
Good day, family. Wherever you're tuning in across the world, you're watching and tuning in to another episode of Senior Talk with Clara Hubbard, your resource and information show for people getting better with age. Well, let me tell you, if you want to just say, I got a good girlfriend who does about the business of serious business, it is none other than my good friend joining me today, Miss Pat Edmond. Let me tell you, you're talking about a servant leader, boots on the ground. I am very excited for this show. We've been in dialogue over some time. We've been in the community together. We want to send a special shout out to our family, the Southeast Providers Council of Chicago. Woo! We love you. We love you. We love you. Mm-hmm. We are here today because Pat Edmond has a very great program. She represents and is a director of sales and marketing of Prairie Green at Dixie Crossing. It is a organization under the umbrella of Senior Lifestyle. They are everywhere you want to go. Let me tell you, they have plenty of these facilities. And we're having a conversation. Last year, Pat, along with some of her colleagues, did a program about adults and caregiving and when it's time to look at alternative options for our loved ones. So let me tell you, I knew she had to be our guest today. This is a real conversation. Mm-hmm. We are living through pandemic. We greet you in the spirit of still wearing masks. Hello. And let me tell you, where your mask at, Pat? We ready. So let me say, I was excited because this conversation is not easy to have, but it's not a bad thing. We need to take our most valuable times with our loved ones and let's have the conversation. So we're going to talk about adults, caregiving, the real situations of senior housing and the pandemic. And then there should also be a conversation about the relationships that we should have with our parents, the clients, and the loved ones. We all need to have an understanding. Yeah. Because I know when the pandemic hit, they were on me. I can't go see my auntie. I said, hey, gather yourself. There is something called protocol. Mm-hmm. There's something called the CDC. There's something called a statement from our governor and our mayor. And people were ready to go. I can't see my. I said, we're not going to do this. We're going to talk to the professionals who sit and make the decisions on behalf of where your loved ones reside. Then we can come back and see what is the plan of action. But that didn't go so well in some regards. Some people just insist because we're passionate about our loved ones, you know. So anyway, before I go any further, we want to welcome Pat Edmond to Senior Talk. How are you today, precious?
I am wonderful, lovely. I'm so glad we finally got this time to get together. Oh my goodness.
Yes, indeed.
Working on this for a year.
Yeah. Now's the time. We're going to say it. Now's the time.
Yeah.
So let me say, I am totally in awe of the work you have done. Literally, we met years ago. You were working with another organization, but the commitment is still there of serving and caring. So tell us about your career in working with seniors, and what brings you to now become the director of sales and marketing. You is busy. As I say, you're busy. But tell us about this new venture you're taking, but tell us about your career so we can learn about Pat Edmond so everyone can love you as well as I do.
Well, you know what? I started from going back to school. You're never too old to go back and learn anything. So I went back for a second bachelor's, number 2. And I wanted to do something in health administration, but I still always had a passion for seniors. Most people don't know my parents are older than the average peers of mine. So they're always 8, 10, 15 years older. So I've been around older adults all my life. So I have a natural gravitation to sit down and talk with them. So from that internship I had, I was fortunate enough to be employed full-time working in research. But with that, I was always dealing with seniors. Then I transitioned to the senior housing side and worked in supportive living, which is a very unique program for the state of Illinois for low-income seniors that most people still don't know about. Then I transitioned into the assisted living because the one thing about me, I don't like to just be in one particular box. I like to know everything that touches the senior population. So from that opportunity, going to assisted living, I've been on 2 senior center auxiliary boards. So I know how senior centers operate, the different programs they offer, then the case coordination units, working with them with the home and community-based programs. Then I shifted to home health. Then I also went to the home care services, working in the South suburban area. And then I went to a skilled nursing facility, and then back to my true first love, which is supportive living.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Supportive living.
Supportive living.
Educate our community on that term. Supportive living.
Supportive living is almost just what it is. It is apartment style living where we provide support services to seniors 65 and or older. And then there's a caveat for communities, not my community, but there are other communities, 22 to 64. And what it is, if I had to break it down, because I like to take complex information and make it very simplistic, it is just pretty much having a home caregiver in the community, like on steroids. So, it really is. So where I say about when it's time to make that choice, when you as the adult child or family member or loved one, if you have to adjust your schedule and your life to take care of a loved one, that's where we step in. Because we're here in the setting. We have the CNAs, which are certified nurses assistants that provide the assistance 24 hours a day. The nurses are here for intermittent nursing care 12 hours a day. And primarily the premise of this program, because it is state funded, there is a financial assistance program. So the idea and concept, I can't afford it. Yes, you can. If you have income, a Social Security income or a pension of whatever, you can afford it. The state will pay on your behalf, believe it or not. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Well, let me say this. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and I'm going to share the experience that you want to have when you call Ms. Pat Edmond at 708-754-5700. You're going to see what your new living experience is going to look like. Everyone, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I walked in, I just thought it was beautiful. I thought it looked like a hotel. I loved the color combination.
In my former life, I was a social worker, so I have been in lots of adult care buildings. I've never seen a space like this.
Community is fresh and new. I have a great view of the little ballpark and the trees.
Prairie Green, we provide everything from light housekeeping to laundry services to daily escort, medication reminders, all that little extra stuff.
All the chefs are really great.
Oh, the servers are wonderful. I think they are the nicest. We have programs that keep me busy. So busy that my children can't get a hold of me.
I've seen a lot of positive changes. There are a lot of activities. She feels needed, she feels wanted, she feels included.
Her memory has improved. Her balance has improved. She came in on a walker, completely dependent on the walker, and a week and a half ago she said, I would like it if you folded that up and put it in the back of the closet. I don't need it.
Oh, the staff is wonderful. They're very supportive and very kind.
We all work together to make sure that the seniors have a good place, a secure place, a safe place.
Our community is so tight-knit because we all genuinely care about each other. We see family members come in all the time for our residents and we know them by name.
I am so impressed with the caring level of the staff.
Prairie Green is just so special in many ways.
And I just love it here because I think this is the place to be.
Well, that's a cruise ship on land. Let me tell you.
Right. And my
Cruise
first
ship.
question, does that look like I'm putting you away somewhere? No. It looks real nice, don't it?
No, let me tell you. Yeah, let me say this. That video was totally the experience. Now, be mindful, this video was shot post-COVID.
Correct. Pre-COVID.
However, pre-COVID, thank you. So let's talk about these services are still being rendered. The service value has not changed, but we are going through a pandemic. So how have you managed through this COVID to keep your elements in place?
So quite naturally, we have to follow the state and CDC guidelines. So we do everything in modification. Right now, the community is on quarantine, and it's not because there are any active cases. It is to mitigate any cases activating in the communities from visitors. So there are no visitors from family at this time, but to combat that, what are we doing like everyone else? Virtual platform. So we do have Chromebooks that the residents can utilize with our program department, and they'll have scheduled days where they can call their families via Zoom, Skype, anything of that sort. That doesn't stop. Yes, ma'am.
Now, you know, we are touchy people, we feely people, but let me say this: how receptive have the seniors been through the virtual, process?
Right. So it's been challenging. Now they're receptive because actually it's another learning curve. Now our program director has introduced them to the internet and online shopping. So yeah, so you know what that means.
Right. So where you sit now, you have a phenomenal staff, and it does take teamwork to keep going through this process because it's not easy. Some businesses, at one point I spoke to a lady and she said, girl, I got something called compassion fatigue. I'm passionate about what I'm doing, but I'm tired in some regards, but I still go and I press because this is my life assignment. And so I said, I totally understand. That's why we have to take times to reset and refresh ourselves.
Yeah.
So working as hard as you do, knowing you still are you taking new incoming tours for clients, and what's that process like right now from where you sit?
So right now we're not doing any in-person tours.
Okay.
I will send you an email of that lovely clip. If a family, because they're just some, they feel like, oh, that's doctor, anybody can do that.
Yeah.
So I schedule an actual Zoom or Skype or virtual meeting, and then I physically walk through the community so they can see virtually. But we're not having any in person right now because of the medication levels with the state. So
Yeah, be very clear.
Yeah.
So let's go to our topic for today. Let's talk about the conversation of adult caregiving. As you mentioned, a lot of us are professionals. We in the streets, we busy. I got loved one, mom, dad, aunt, uncle. But in some cases, we know some people have pulled away or taken a leave of absence to care for their loved one. And I want you to talk about the strength of supportive living in that regard to that professional who say, I saw that video and I'm hearing some things. Maybe I want to consider that. What is that conversation like that you would share with them?
So generally, when I get inquiry calls and talk with family members, because the reality is they're dealing with what I call long distance guilt. We've been raised and taught we don't put our families in any type of institutional setting, community, whatever you want to call it. We have vowed that to the last breath, I'm going to take care of mama. But the reality is when we made that statement, we didn't realize that you were going to have your own personal life, being married, dating, whatever, your careers, job, children. And now this pandemic, it's put so many stressors. So we want to relieve that one stressor, what I like to call put the roles back in place. Because let us be that caregiver. Let us worry about taking mom to her doctor's appointment. Let us worry about that in her apartment. We can clean her room weekly. We can make certain she get her meals. We can make certain they get their medications and take them like they're supposed to. Because seniors, when they're alone or at home, the TV is not a babysitter.
Girl, if you don't say it, and two, we have to pause here and say this. There is a system in place because there is a need.
Correct.
So supportive living, I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to say it first, and I'm going to repeat myself. It is not a nursing home.
No.
Nothing against nursing home. They are definitely viable where they sit and where they are needed. This is supportive living. Just like I said, it's a cruise ship on land. You saw they got a concierge to greet you.
Yes.
Parking lot. Then you come in, you get, when the last time you had somebody bring you your meal to the table prepared? Stop playing.
Look, right now they're getting room service. The rooms are being delivered to their meals 3 times a day.
What you say? So we missing the activities, I know, but some people still doing virtual bingo, and we got a lot of things going on. And then I heard you got some rowdy singers because some of them wanted to line dance last year.
Oh, yes. They were line dancing, chair dancing. We even did wheelchair line dancing last year. We did all modifications just because wherever they are in their step of life,
right?
They cannot enjoy it.
Exactly. So knowing you have some longtime residents, they've had to adjust to this. What are the, I want to say, testimonies that they can share? Because first of all, there has to be some, because they're protected and the well-being is in place and you care about them. And I know personally, I'm a cheerleader for supportive living because there are some things you can do that I just can't do with my time schedule. So what are the testimonies that your long-term residents, especially them rowdy ones, you got some rowdy ones. So what they saying to you, and how is that making you just feel more comfortable and more, making you feel better about your job that you're doing? Believe
it or not, our colorful residents,
that's
we all love, that test you, that push. It's almost like that child, like, ooh, you. But believe it or not, they have been so appreciative during this whole process and what's going on, because yes, they didn't quite understand. They're adults. Who are you telling an adult? No, I'm sorry. You shouldn't go outside. We want you to stay right here. They feel like, well, you can't tell me what to do. You're absolutely right, but we want to make sure you're safe.
Right.
And the premise and the foundation of everything we do is safety.
Yes, ma'am.
Even with new admissions, newer residents, and safety. So they've actually come up to us and say, you know what? I just want to thank you for everything you do. Even when I'm here late and leave, they say, you going home now? You here this late? I said, well, yeah, I had a couple of things to do. Well, you take care. Now make sure you call the front desk to let them know you made it home.
That's what I'm talking about. That's right. Hey, be clear.
Okay. So it's a family. When I say welcome to the family, we mean that. I know other places, other communities, and I've heard negatives. People are like, well, I can't find anyone. I can't reach the manager. All our managers, we have an open door policy.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can reach us, you can contact us, the executive director and the health and wellness director. They're so open and transparent. It's not even funny. I would just tell them the reality, like I said, the reversal of roles. When you're the adult child and you're taking care of your loved one, you're running around rampant. And at the end of the day, my question is, who's going to take care of you if you're not here to take care of mom? If you're gone, what's going to happen? What is still your next step? What is your plan B, C, or D? So let us take the stress. Let us do that. And then you can just be the daughter coming to visit, or the son coming to visit, or the grandchild coming to visit. You can do that versus trying to, let me go to work. Now I got to run over here. Now I got to go get the pharmacy. I got to go get the medications. We have a pharmacy that we work with. They deliver here on site every 2 weeks, already prepackaged. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to change doctors. See, that's another myth people think about. You have to change your doctor. You don't have to change your doctor. You can keep your own primary care physician, or if your physician want to come to the community to visit you, he or she can do that. Girl, yes. And believe it or not, you kept mentioning about supportive living. The premise of supportive living, how it came about, because the state found there were so many people in nursing homes that did not need to be there.
Yeah.
To benefit from a quality of life, independence, but with a little bit of help.
Yeah.
That's what we provide.
Wow. Wow. So you got residents who are actually, in some regards, doing the Benjamin Button. Remember that movie? They getting better. That's why we call them getting better with age. They're in the environment.
Centurions in my building.
Say it again.
I have centurions in my building.
Oh, that's wonderful. So guess what? We're going to start in February coming up, and I'm going to share it with you. We have something called XYZ. It's the extra years of zeal for those who are 100 plus. And we have a Facebook frame from Senior Talk. So if you send their picture, whenever they turn 100, whatever that month is, we're going to put their picture in the frame and let the world know I am here. I've seen 100 years and I'm getting better. So we're going to share. That's good to know. So how many we got?
I think I have about 2. I have quite a few in their 90s. And the problem why? Because when I find out their age, they don't look it.
Yeah, we do age well.
we don't look it.
Like they say, that's a tagline that I use all the time. It says, age is merely the number of years the world has been enjoying me.
Absolutely.
I love it. So are there birthdays upcoming?
I believe the summer.
That's all right. Well, I'm going to announce it. I have a frame that I created, and it's called XYZ, the Extra Years of Zeal. And what I do is I post a picture of that resident, that older American getting better with age. When the month of their birthday, when they turn 100, there's a first Facebook frame. And we want the world to see that I am a centurion and getting better. So that's awesome. So what can you say now? What is the percentage of your staff that are male and female? Because there's a different care plan and that comes with empathy from those who serve, who are male, and some who are female. What is that difference?
Just like in caregiving in general, it's always predominantly female. But as part of our employment process and a requirement, you have to show compassion regardless of your gender.
Tell the truth. That's right.
Absolutely. And my health and wellness director, she's no holds barred. She does not play. So it's expected of all her staff.
Yes. And it's important too, because you have to, what is the heart or the characteristics of someone who, let's say, would be looking for an employment opportunity in supportive living? Because you got to have a skill set.
So if anything, you definitely have to have a heart and compassion to work with the elderly. You cannot say, oh, I just want something just to have a job. That it does not go over well, because it will show in your work ethics, because you're just doing something, but you're not doing it with love.
Yes.
So, and it will come out and there will be a conversation, but we definitely are looking for those that have a desire to work with seniors, just like you have respect and love for your parents and grandparents. This is who I adopt all of them. These are all my parents in here. Every one of them. So
how many parents you got?
Girl, I got over 85.
That's a lot of parents.
I got over 85.
So we are going to reconvene. We're going to come back again, and we're going to talk more in the month of February about the soul of the caregiver. I know you can share that. Mm-hmm. We want to really hear from maybe even some of the staff, or just even if however you want to express that, because there is a great thing called supportive living. I'm telling you, it is less than 30 years this term. If you think, Pat.
Yeah, I think so, because I think the program came about in the early 90s, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So, but it's still, it's an alternative, and there are many people. You saw how the lady was holding the card game, had her iced tea on the side, exercising. You know, I know personally when I go home, I don't even know what I'm gonna cook.
Right. I wish I could have someone cook for me.
Right. But it's so, and then the thing too, we look at the specific measures, everyone's meal, even that's why they can deliver to the door, because everyone has certain dietary needs. And you go through that. So let's say we get a call, which we will. And then what is that intake process through, let's say, sharing the video that we saw and the call, and someone says, you know what, I want to consider my loved one coming to Prairie, Prairie Green. What's the intake process like right now during COVID?
So our intake process is a 3-step approval process. The first step, they would have to be approved clinically. So they would have to be screened by the Department of Aging Case Coordination Unit. So I will request that, which is the determination needs similar to homemaker services. And they will have to be seen virtually, where a virtual assessment conducted by our health and wellness director, and then their primary care physician will have to give us a health history, current list of medications, and he or she will also have to certify that they are appropriate to be in this community as well. Because again, safety is the number one factor.
Wow.
Secondary approval is the financial approval, because all the supporting documents we are asking for is for you to qualify for the financial assistance program. And that's primarily for those that are currently on Medicaid or Medicaid eligible. Even though you may not be approved for Medicaid currently in the community, does not mean you will not be approved here at Supportive Living. So don't throw yourself out the equation.
Right.
Finally, because of right now the pandemic and everything, the last step was to be tested for COVID. I will put a pin in. We are now on the priority list for our community to have the vaccination. So yes. We have gotten our schedule, so we'll be getting vaccinated within the next couple of weeks.
Amen. Well, it's been a pleasure. We've covered a lot of ground. We got more ground to cover, but I would like everyone to know that this video will be also shown on Senior Talk TV or Senior Talk on Facebook on another day. We're also going to have it on WOSD, our simulcast station. It'll be on Sunday coming up at 10 a.m. And let me tell you, if you want more information on Prairie Green at Dixie Crossing, it is an umbrella under Senior Lifestyle Corporation. They have several communities to serve you, but today we are focusing on our friends at Prairie Green at Dixie Crossing at 708-754-5700. Y'all call Pat. She has a smiling face, she's personable, and she is my friend. Don't be afraid, and don't shock mom and dad and say, you're going to live there. Let's have a conversation. Ease them into it.
They have to be included in the process.
That's right. Just don't shock them and throw them into it and throw them off. So let's have that conversation. So again, everyone, you've been tuning in to Senior Talk with Clara Hubbard. Our special guest today was Pat Edmond, Sales and Marketing Director. She's busy. Prairie Green at Dixie Crossing, one of my friends and one of my favorite people in the world. And let me tell you, for more information on how you can reach her, please go to seniortalkmedia.com. But let me close out our program by saying, in complete darkness, we are all the same. It is only our knowledge and wisdom that separate us. Don't let your eyes deceive you. I am very proud to be your host, granddaughter in the community, Senior Talk with Clara Hubbard. We look forward to seeing you next time. Everyone, take care.